wait until that happens and then fill in the forms for us.
Sure.
So now in the current situation, well, I'll go ahead and I'll answer their questions on your behalf, certainly indicating that, you know, our investigation was moving forward and we believed what you said and we believed that, you know, to the point where we were going to lay a charge, we believe that you certainly are a victim of this crime. So stuff like that will continue for sure.
Yeah. Now, something I'm worried about is, so you're telling me the charges will not be public now at all?
No, like the sexual assault charges?
Yeah.
That is the absolute worst part of it for us, is that no one will ever
no information at all is released.
None.
Oh my God.
None. And I'm sitting there like you, I'm assuming. I'm sitting there reading the sound off to Miskaming this morning when I came in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and thinking, like, there's a lot of people making it sound like this guy's about to sprout a pair of wings, you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Really
like,
be carrying as a pitchfork.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, yeah, exactly.
But yeah, there's no mechanism. Shy incident yesterday doesn't. It was over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, that's good.
The other thing is, now that we're at this stage, I had anticipated being there maybe a month from now instead. But if at any point you would like to come now and meet our investigative team, I don't have any hesitation in sharing with you what we can share.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
I can tell you that, you know, one of the concerns.
So you're now able to tell me how many victims there are, stuff like that?
No, I still have privacy issues in relation to other people, the same as I won't be telling other people about you.
In a civil court. Still investigating the actual crash then?
Yes.
Okay.
Now that's done by, we've sent a traffic reconstructionist up there, and you know, as you're obviously aware, you know, this information was no longer discreet in Temiskaming, and you know, for a vehicle to strike another vehicle head on, there's a lot of questions that get asked, and so the coroner does an investigation into the, you know, the cause and the nature of death, and in doing that, the coroner has the authority to ask us to actually do the legwork, do the heavy pulling, if you will, and so our traffic reconstruction team was up there. The highway was closed for most of the day. Yesterday afternoon was reopened once they were done their investigation. But
so they're considering like suicide, right?
It's a consideration.
Yeah.
I can tell you, you know, from a coroner's standpoint, there has to be pretty convincing evidence for them to draw that conclusion.
That's too bad.
Yeah, you know, and that's the question that everybody's asking, right? You know, kind of a you know, what do you call, like a impending fall from grace, and you know, does something drastic. The truth of the matter is, we just don't know. Like, you know, could have been eating a hamburger, could have been texting somebody. There's all kinds of explanations for crossing the center line, but you know, that's what the traffic investigation will determine.
Yeah.
And they're pretty good. Like, you know, most of those vehicles have a, you know, electronic, like a black box type of thing, you know, and so
cool.
Pretty good that way. And we certainly made, in light of the kind of backstory, we contacted the regional coroner and made him aware of all the other facts that he may or may not have known, you know, or would not have known. Actually, the regional coroner is the doctor that I was consulting with to get an expert on our case. And so, you know, I emailed them back yesterday saying, you know, just as a heads up, we no longer need to talk about that other piece. But
so,
but that's, you know.
So does the college release the rest of their information?
I don't believe so. When I spoke with Anne yesterday, she indicated that was, she said, what happens with your investigation? I said, well, if there's nobody to charge, there's no investigation to do. We would, and sounds like gallows humor, but we would say he's judged by a higher court.
Yeah.
And she said, yeah, that's what happens to ours too. There's no jurisdiction to hold anyone accountable if there's no one to hold accountable.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't presume to understand all of their rules and regulations, but as I understand it from her, their investigation as well would die with Dr. Dagg.
Right. There's no way for the truth to come out then.
Well, and it's an interesting observation, right? And we said the same thing yesterday. That's the most damning aspect of it to us is, we oftentimes as police officers, when we know the truth, and you sit and read one of those blogs and you say, just wait, wait.
That's what kept me going here, and then now.
But we're never in a position where, like, we're in the information collection business, not the information sharing business.
Yep.
And so we're never in a position where we can publicly say, what we know.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one of those things. If this was, I'm not saying that it is, but if it was a deliberate act on Dr. Pace's behalf, then that could be part of the reasoning. Was if I'm dead before the truth comes out, then the truth will never come out.
Yeah. And then if it is deemed a suicide, that will be made public?
I doubt it very much.
Oh my.
Like unless there was like an inquiry or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, one of the things that happens quite frequently in our world, you get sent to an occurrence where the neighbors report there were shots fired, and
mm-hmm.
so we go to the occurrence and there's a media release. The police are on scene and this is going on, and if it turns out to be a suicide, we would generally just say we're now investigating a death investigation. There's no foul play to be, and the media almost always does not report on it.
Oh yeah.
Now who knows in this case, but
mm-hmm.
there is, in terms of like, would the coroner's office make a media release about it? I've never seen them do that. That being said, if they get pressured, like we had up here, this week we had a 16-month-old child die of H1N1. They didn't disclose the name of anybody, and only when there's kind of a public safety aspect attached to it.
Yeah.
But so I'll leave the other aspect of it with you,
mm-hmm.
in terms of.
People know. It's just really unfortunate, this entire thing.
Yeah, we encounter that reasonably frequently, actually, when people are involved in the criminal justice system. And I always say, there's a reason they call it the criminal justice system and not the victim justice system. And
mm-hmm.
the reason is that it favors the criminal. It really does. Everybody's the criminal has all part of the process, right? Like, I can't apologize for it. It is what it is.
Well, I mean, you guys should have charged him a long time ago.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't for lack of trying, and I can tell you now that a year and a half ago, Constable Eddles fought hard against the Crown Attorney.
Fucking bitch.
To have charges laid, and the Crown Attorney's decision at that time was that there wasn't a reasonable.
She should fucking resign, that bitch.
And then I actually took that to my boss, and my boss took it to a regional Crown Attorney.
Good.
Because we disagreed with that vehemently. But it's one of those things for us. If we know in advance a Crown attorney's not going to prosecute it, there's no point in us laying the charge.
She should lose her job or resign or something, man, because that, and this truth isn't even going to get out. Nobody's going to know about anything.
Yeah, and like I said, I wish I had a simple answer or a.
So what's the Crown attorney that you talked to doing about that whole thing then?
About what whole thing?
About disciplining her.
Nothing.
Why though?
She, she was asked for her opinion. She provided her opinion, and that was that. That's that.
So there's no consequences to refusing to step away from this case because she had a conflict of interest because she's on the board with the wife of the perpetrator.
Well, you have to take that up with them, but
yeah, can you please give me the contact information for them, for whoever you talk to?
Conflict of interest is for them to declare, not for someone else to decide on their behalf.
Sure, yeah, but can I have their contact information then? The Crown attorney that's her boss or whatever?
Yeah, I don't have that at my. I can. The regional Crown attorney here, his name is John Lusac.
Oh, I spoke to that asshole.
What's that?
I spoke to John Lusac.
Okay, he's the boss up here.
Yeah, he's useless. He's good for nothing.
Well, again, I'm not. I'm here to. I'll talk to you about my part, and I'm not gonna disparage or speak against somebody who was asked for their opinion and gave it.
He replied to me, and here's the reply he gave to me. Oh, well, the police has done their protocol and have done everything, and it's the end of the case. That's what he says there during the gray metal investigation. And I hope you got... Oh. Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, all I can tell you there is that
he's not going to discipline her.
Gray metals. He was fighting for you all the way along, and he just got overruled. And,
how is it that this Terri Regimbal is not going to get in trouble? How is that?